So hey, good to have you here with us. My name's Nate. I'm the singer-songwriter for Homeward Found, this musicians collective which we're really excited about. Today, it's evening now, tonight we're going to be doing a bit of just listening to this new single that's come out, Broken Hearted, getting to know a little bit about the story behind that, why it was written. We've got Corben, he plays keys and arranges a lot of the tracks for Homeward Found, the single and the album that's coming out in a week's time. But yeah, so and this is James, my friend, James Gwyn-Thomas. He's going to be kind of hosting it with us today. So yeah, let's get cracking.
Thank you for having us. No, I'm really excited because I love music. I greatly appreciate it. I can't necessarily do it or make it, and I've heard snippets of this. I'm looking forward to hearing the full thing tonight, and I'm really looking forward as well to understanding a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes to make something particularly of this quality. So thank you for the time for exploring with me.
Great, no, it's good. So James is going to kind of walk us through a couple of questions, a couple of behind the scenes stuff. But for now, let's just get cracking. We're going to listen to the track.
Thank you. Good.
And we'll see you in a couple of seconds.
You are the sun, shining in pastures green, a heartache that seems to bleed.
Here we go. Great.
Oh, I love that, and it makes me feel like I want a convertible Porsche, nice long silky hair,
Don't we all?
and a warm day to go driving. It's just wonderful. So thank you. I guess can I ask about the song? Inspiration. Can I start there? Well, Where do you start from wanting to write a song like that?
It's there's a little bit of a confession with this one, in that it's the oldest song on the album. I originally started writing it when I was in Australia, doing some training with youth in 2012. So it's got a real kind of age on it for me, anyway. But I was going through a season of kind of self-awareness in terms of kind of broken relationships, what that looked like for me, where I made huge mistakes, and where other people had made huge mistakes with me, and kind of processing that. Well, being a singer-songwriter, it comes out in music. But what I found really helpful was kind of, and I was also going on this journey of kind of getting to know who God was, and kind of looking at what Jesus has said in the Bible and this kind of stuff, and so that really influenced me in a big way. And it was such an encouragement to see brokenness when it comes to relationship kind of made whole, which we see in Jesus. Kind of those are the claims he made, and so that was a real kind of balm for my brokenness in relationships, and one thing that I felt immensely kind of conflicted about was how I treated women, particularly, in not giving them the time they deserve, not giving them kind of the exclusivity they deserved, and kind of not giving them a wholeheartedness, and so whilst I was processing that, this kind of heart yearning song came out. Actually, my heart had flipped. Actually, I wanted to give back, and so kind of the way we've talked about it since then, my wife and I and a couple of others, is it's almost like an ode to all of the women and all the girls who've been spurned and been treated badly, and kind of it's a song for the brokenhearted.
So are there specific lyrics in that song that really mean something to you? Is there one line that hinges?
I was thinking about it. I think for me the line, like a fragile sheet when crushed, your heart shows the creases of broken trust. And it was that kind of image of when you crush a piece of paper, no matter how much you try and flatten it out, all of those creases are still there.
Emotional scars.
Yeah, and it was like that. Kind of that broken heart. Kind of there'll always be remnants of that. And I think it was, but then kind of offset with like this really happy tune. It was kind of the devastation I'd felt in realizing what I'd kind of done to hurt people, but kind of met with that healing that Jesus talks about. and kind of at the end of the song, it talks about you are made whole, a life turning hot from cold, kind of being brought out of this broken legacy. Actually, you are being set free, kind of the creases are being ironed out, and there's a whole new openness and a whole new kind of future of freedom kind of awaiting.
So if that's the oldest track that's on the album, is there a link then between the theme of Broken Hearted and the name of the album? Is there a link there?
Yeah, there is. We actually haven't released the album name yet, and I think like this is a really good place to do that. So we're calling the album Into the Wild, and one of the tracks is Into the Wild, and there's kind of other tracks that are coming through with this theme of brokenness. So kind of like we kind of say it's real with a positive twist. So that we're talking about real things, real hurts, kind of. This world is broken, it's messed up in many ways, but actually when we go into wild places where there's brokenness, actually we can see beauty around us as well, and it's that beautiful. I've always had kind of two rules as a singer-songwriter. One is tell the truth, and often that means kind of digging deep into places that are a bit uncomfortable, that kind of have that guilty edge, but also the second rule is the truth includes joy and it includes hope, because we see that, and maybe not in ourselves, but we definitely see that in Jesus. We see that in kind of the freedom he offers, and so we kind of wanted to explore that. It's wild, this life is a roller coaster, but maybe there's some good to be found in it, and kind of my heart longs for that, doesn't it? There's that kind of constant yearning of I want to know these answers, I want to know why I'm here, and
like a fragile sheet when crushed, your heart shows the creases of broken trust. You're left alone.
But what I was saying, what you were saying is actually you wanted to write out of a place of truth and joy, which I think are two really good points. And from what I hear in the charts and with kind of mainstream music, I think a lot of artists would say they want to say the truth, but I'm not sure that does match up with their lives when you read about it in the media. So I think what I'm saying is it's interesting that you say you want to write from a place of truth, but you're not bigging yourself up and speaking about what you want to be or wish you were. Actually, you speak very honestly about your brokenness, and I think that's quite refreshing. How do you think people respond to that as they're listening to it?
Well, I think it's almost with a bit of confusion. I think because it's like, well, this is quite depressing. I haven't come to listen to music to get depressed, and also it's a bit jarring. Kind of you have a very low view of yourself, whereas kind of today's kind of golden pursuit is having a very high view of yourself, and kind of actually being so confident about you as a person that it doesn't matter what people think or what even you think, and so it kind of really juxtaposes what that pursuit is. Kind of actually I'm aware of my brokenness. I'm aware in every day I'm making mistakes.
But that's very powerful when you're speaking about that with joy. Yeah. And I think any listener would go, what's going on?
What's this all about?
How is being vulnerable a liberating thing?
Well, I think it's that sense of living by truth. So actually, if you're feeling like you for example, the social media pressure of putting across this perfect life, and when you're feeling that pressure and kind of I want to, and Facebook's telling you what are you thinking about, and you need to post your perfect meal that you've done, actually it's incredibly trapping, and subconsciously I think we're just constantly covered and constantly chained in to stuff that's very not us. So when we kind of break those chains and release, like, you know what, stuff it, I'm not perfect, I'm not a good man, I'm not the perfect husband, I'm not the perfect father, I'm not even kind of a good father that I'd like to be, I'm kind of mediocre at best, you know what I mean? It's really, when you kind of face that, look at that in the face, I mean, Michael Jackson did a good job in Man in the Mirror, kind of actually need to sort yourself out first, and I think there's a lot of truth in that, but what's really kind of for me, this personal relationship with Jesus, it adds that extra mix. So you're not just left in that depressive place of, oh, I suck, I'm a miserable worm. You're not left in that place. Actually,
a thread of hope.
Yes, Jesus comes in and said, well, that's not an issue, because that's why I'm around. And that's, for me, that's where that chorus comes into its own. In Broken Hearted, it says, well, not while I'm around.
But not while I'm around. I'll keep you safe and sound. Oh, I say.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited about the song and the album when I get to hear all of it, in the sense of it really does speak into some of the greatest needs and challenges of today's culture. Actually, there's a lot of particularly young women who are craving those kind of lyrics to be sung to them. And actually it's coming from a place of truth and trust and joy. I hope that will really speak into the hearts of many a young woman. It'd be brilliant.
Don't tell me your blue skies seem to fade into a funny shade of grey, 'cause I won't stand any longer for how they treat you deep inside the frame. We'll kick back the last of the
Once again, Nate to Muggins. But anyway, so Corben, we have you on the phone. It's good to have you here. Thank you so much.
No worries, thanks for having me.
This guy, I cannot sing his praises enough. So for a couple of years, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Corbs, but for a couple of years we've known each other through kind of mutual friends and relatives and whatnot. Yeah, it kind of just grew from there, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it did. I mean, obviously, I met you through Dewi, who obviously I knew through Walsh College.
Yeah.
And obviously he's married to Laura, who's your sister.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the first time we met was. Did you have a gig and I came up to you? I think was that the first time?
Yeah, that was it. So you used to be in a band called Safe House.
Oh yeah.
And we did a wedding. I subbed for the singer, and the rest is history.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I remember.
One of the really cool things was I wrote a song. It's on the album. It's called Trust. And I just had the idea, the bare bones, and I played it to Corben. And this is why I just love more of Corben. That's what you need in your life. Just some more of Corben. And I played in this song. And it was just, how about you do a bit of this? And just like, I just took it to the next level. And then he sent me back. I recorded it, a demo, sent it to him, and he sent me back with electric guitar, like this insane solo, full drum kit, and this piano part, which was just beautifully offset. I was just like, oh my gosh, that was even better than what I had in my head. So Corb, thank you so much for coming. We've just got a couple of questions for you, and just kind of want to go a bit behind the scenes on what's happening in Broken Hearted.
Yeah, sure.
I'd love to know the relationship between kind of Nate and the rest of the band. So that's a bit of a history about how you guys met. Do you all share? So Corben, I guess this is directed at you. Do you all share the same kind of ideologies and the same passion for the theme that Nate has, or do you end up just kind of playing along with what is suggested? How does it work from your kind of inner workings?
I'd say definitely, yeah. What you said, Nate made it very clear what he felt God was telling him, and you know it was quite easy to get on board with and to understand, and it kind of all grew from there. Look, we all kind of know each other through. Obviously, I know Dewi. Dewi was at Walsh College. We've got some friends that are at Walsh College. Me and Dewi went to the same church. There were some musicians from the church as well. So we've all just kind of come together, and it's all. It's great because we're people that play together regularly, and that really helped the chemistry, I think, of the studio sessions in terms of getting everything down, because we all just kind of listened to each other, and even though we had individual parts to play, I just felt we were really gelled as a group, and I think that really shows in the tracks.
It really does. So do you sit down with Nate and kind of talk about where that song came from, or do you just kind of pick up instruments and let the instruments do the talking?
Honestly, with the track that Nate was on about, Trust, I'm rubbish at composing something, so I can't come up with a melody and arrange something, I can kind of hear a melody that's played to me. I can think, oh, actually, this would work quite nicely with that.
Yeah.
So I'm quite quick at picking that up. So I can just kind of hear, because I've got perfect pitch as well. I can hear what he's playing, and I can hear, oh, that's an idea. So I know how this goes, and I can just kind of play along with him. Really, it's just something I've always been able to do naturally. But it's a good.
I'd want to interject here and say, when the album comes out, and this will make more sense when the album comes out and you hear all the tracks, but all of the string parts and the horn parts, this is all Corben's mastery. So I did a lot of the writing, the lyrics, having the chord structure, but it was just kind of me strumming away on the guitar quite pitifully. But then come in these beautiful, like in Broken Hearted, that's the lead out from the second verse into the second chorus with that string, then it just brings that whole extra level you're not expecting. That was all kind of Corben's mastery. Yeah,
it's clear that you guys have a very good relationship bordering on bromance. But I guess one thing I'd like to ask you again, Corben, is you've clearly got a lot of experience musically and with bands as well. Does it feel different being in this sort of collective? Is it a positive experience? Is it something that's quite difficult but is worth working at? What does it feel like?
I think it's a situation which could be difficult in some ways, but I think because we've all got the same ideals and the same beliefs, and even though we all come with different backgrounds and we've got different ideas and influences, I just kind of think we're all that open-minded that we can just kind of get along and adjust to each other's, well, I say adjust, we're open-minded to different ideas than what us personally would have thought of. And I think it's a really positive thing.
I think it is. I think it's a step into the future as well, being that actually life is difficult at the moment where everybody is very busy.
Yes.
And life is expensive, particularly for musicians, so you can't always just make it a full-time job with one band. But it opens up doors of possibilities to a lot of people, really. It's very exciting. Corben, can I ask, what track are you most excited about? Am I allowed to ask that? Is that too much of a giveaway?
I'm most excited about... I think my favourite one on the album, and this isn't because it's similar to Trust in that Nate just kind of had his guitar and his vocals, and he kind of played it, and I recorded it on my phone, and then I kind of took it away and kind of arranged. Don't want to take any credit away from Nate because it's his song, but I kind of arranged it from scratch in terms of all the rhythm parts and all the other. Instruments, and that one's got so much going on in terms of different textures and all that kind of thing. I'm quite a big fan of a group called Snarky Puppy, and they've got a very sort of got a very unique sound in terms of how they use the horns. They're very kind of melodic and simple, and I try to use that kind of feel, if you like.
Which one? This is Hamster in a Wheel, right? Isn't it? The one you're talking about is Hamster in a Wheel. Yeah,
Hamster. Sorry, I should say yes. Hamster in a Wheel. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, there we go. And Corben, are you coming up for the album launch?
I will be. Yes.
Oh, brilliant!
So
good. I get to see your face as well. It's exciting. I think it's going to be a very, very exciting evening. I'm looking forward to it greatly. And who's your favourite band member, Corben? No, I'm really joking. It's worth saying. Are you selling tickets all over the country or in Buckshall?
No, we are actually. So you can buy tickets online. Just go on universe.com and put Homeward Found album launch. And you'll find it. Okay. You can buy them anyway, or you can buy them through our Facebook. You can buy them through our website. There's loads of places. And you can buy them on the door. It's the 12th of May.
12th of May, 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
Always helpful. Always helpful. And where can people listen to it if they can't come?
So on the 13th, we're hoping that the whole album goes live on all your streaming platforms, so Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Google Play, Amazon, the whole lot.
That is exciting. How many of you are there in the band?
In the band? There's going to
be 5 of us on the gig, I think.
Yeah, there's 5 of us at the gig. In terms of the recording, there's 4 strings, is that right?
3 strings technically, yeah, but for 4 string parts.
So three string players, 3 wind instruments, but Corben doubles up. So that's 5: Corben, me, Tim, Josh, Mike, Matt, Trench, and then my wife Abigail, myself. Yeah. So there's like a good, 12, 13 people getting involved in this album.
It's a big venture.
Yeah.
So here's a question for both of you: where do you hope that this goes?
Well, see, I think it's a great opportunity to promote good music, because I know I'm biased, but I think it is genuinely good music. I think it's good to promote the fact that Christian music, for example, there's a lot of stuff out there that I don't feel is particularly solid and groundbreaking. And I think music like this, like Nate's written, is very intuitive, and the words are very powerful. And I think it's a very good olive branch to reach out to people with.
Where I see it going is, and actually I bubble this stuff because, like I said, Broken Hearted is 6 years old from my perspective, from when I wrote it. So some of these kind of, for me, have kind of been in the pipeline for a long time. So much so that during the last 2 years, I've got another album's worth of stuff that we haven't even kind of got as a band. We haven't got together to sit down. So literally today, in my head, I was like, great, on May 13th, I'm going to message the Homeward Found peeps and say, so here are some songs. So there's some really exciting stuff. And actually, I really want to press on that Snarky Puppy influence, because I think it's really, really special. And it's something that Corbs brings. And actually, Josh Moon, I want to shout out to him and Tim, kind of, I would say this trio, so Corben Lee, Josh Moon and Tim Lewis, they're so tight musically when they play together. And I think, would you quite safely say that's a Snarky Puppy kind of centre there?
I'd say maybe, yes, that contributes towards it. We're all three of us are quite big fans, so I'd say that's definitely plays a part in how we play.
Yeah, and Josh Moon plays bass in the album, and he's kind of grown up amusingly through kind of gospel churches, so he's got this amazing kind of 5-string bass gospel feel to when he plays, and it's just so special.
It's wonderful that neither of you just said anything to do with finance, and actually you guys are purely in this for the joy of the musicality, but also you really believe in, I think, what these songs are standing for and the message behind it. And I guess I'm nowhere near as talented as either of you, but I've got a few years on you, I think, probably, Corben. And in my very limited experience, actually, it's some of the hardest fought for things that end up being the most worthy. And it's not a word that we use very much anymore, worthy. But I can imagine, actually, in the making of it, lots of people have given up their time for free to make this. And I can imagine there are times when you just think, oh, goodness gracious, this is
hard work.
But you hear it and you think, this is worth it.
Yeah.
And so I would just love to encourage the whole band, the whole Homeward Found collective, to keep doing it, as and when, obviously, but it is good. It is a good thing to do.
For the broken-hearted, you are made whole. A story that's
cool. There was one thing I kind of wanted to press upon just a little bit, really quickly, with you, Corbs. You've been through a lot of the album is about being honest, about kind of actually, it's called Into the Wild, and life has its roller coasters, and I was just wondering if you'd be happy to share with us just a little bit about what you've been going through the last 2-3 years, if not longer.
Yeah, sure. So I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease in December 2008, which, if people don't know that much about, it's getting better at being made known, but it's a degenerative condition where it can affect any part of the digestive system. So it gets inflamed, and you can lose a lot of weight. You can get very, very tired, and it's just generally, like in some some cases, like you can get blackouts and things like that.
Wow.
Thankfully, mine's not that bad. But I had a flare-up just after university, and throughout 2015, I was in and out of hospital, where I was not very well. They would give me the drugs and send me back out. Things were fine for a few months, and then it just got worse again.
It was so hard to go through. Yeah.
Until eventually I had an operation to remove 3/4 of my large intestine, which has left me with a colostomy bag. So
It's a big deal.
That in itself was quite hard to come to terms with, I think, initially, because it's quite a big change for one's life. I remember post-operation, I was really upset. I had my headphones in my ears and I was listening, and then a song came on that was sung at Nathaniel's wedding, actually. There's a song called Still by Hillsong. It's quite an old song. But it talks about, basically, I will soar with you above the storm. I will be still and know you're God.
Yeah.
And for me, that was quite a hard-hitting moment that I realised, I might feel horrendous right now and broken, and I was feeling broken, and that for me was a reminder that God, no matter what state we're in, loves us. And even though I'd been given this new attachment to come to terms with, it was an answer to my prayer and my struggles. And looking back on how I was before the operation, I didn't realise how ill I was until I had this operation, and just my quality of life has just improved
It's amazing,
and I can't thank God enough for that.
Goodness gracious.
It was amazing to watch because we've known Corben for a good half decade, if not longer, by a long shot, and none of us knew, none of us could guess how much it was affecting you, but we all kind of in unison, once you've gone through this process, and seeing you pick up so much, just more energy in your days, kind of more ability to socialise, your capacity to deal with frustrations that we all deal with, work and unemployment and dreams not coming through. Like, you just had such a greater quality of life after this, and it did make you realise, like, actually life is really difficult sometimes, and we don't realise.
I definitely did. I definitely kind of noticed I'd withdrawn a lot more. It got to the point where I was feeling so ill, like I couldn't be bothered to do anything about it. I just got to the point I just felt so I was like, well, this is it, I might as well just stick with it or whatever. So I can totally understand, and I see now how withdrawn I was before that happened. And you're right, life is difficult, and we do sometimes get dealt things which are difficult to deal with, and we don't understand why why that's why it's happened. But I feel that that God certainly helped.
It must really speak into so much that you end up doing with music, in the sense of so many songs are about identity. And it's a huge challenge, isn't it, to who are you with that kind of thing. It's brutal, really. And it's like you were saying with the lyrics to Broken Hearted. There's so many things that shake our identity. And I always remember those words that C.S. Lewis said: never let your happiness depend on something you may lose. I mean, that's key with, I guess, something, Corben, like health. It's hugely key with relationships or material possessions. But if our happiness and our identity is tied up in something that then deteriorates, we are really on shaky ground. So it's incredible to hear, actually, Corben, you go through something like that and then actually find some, well, not just some sense of thankfulness, but a deep-seated thankfulness is an incredible thing. Is there a song that reflects some of your feelings, Corben, in this album, or is that on the next one to come?
I'd say Trust.
I was going to say the same.
I think would be one that comes to mind, just thinking through them quickly.
It's so challenging.
Yeah.
Because like today's culture is, I have a right to perfect health. I have a right to the relationship that I want. I have a right to the kind of job that I want, rather than the kind of attitude of the sum total of the experiences that I've gone through has made me who I am. And that's a completely different way of looking at life.
Yeah.
That's an incredible story, Corben, really.
Thanks so much.
That's right.
Wow. Well, I'm looking forward to meeting you, sir.
Likewise, James. Likewise.
But yeah, thanks so much, Corben, and we'll see you in a week's time.
See you in a week.
Thank
See you later. Thank you.
God bless. Bye. Bye.
That's right. Cheers. Bye.
And thanks, James.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Free from a broken legacy, a beautiful mystery.